The question is, how do you be different? Because this phenomenon hasn't just started today. And this is a really hard one, and this is something we want to talk about. But, and I don't have, by the way, the silver bullet, but I do believe that you really, you know, as a CEO, need to look at the hard parts of your business. And I'll tell you a story. I was talking to the CEO of Asiana. Everybody familiar with Asiana, the transport company? They transport coal. That's their bread and butter, and iron ore across the country. And I asked him a question. I said to him, are you going to be Ubered? And he said, no way, you know, no way. Because who else can take iron ore, put them in trains, etc.? Well, I'd asked the same question to the cab companies. They said, who else has got the, you know, the franchise for Australia with silver cabs or yellow cabs? Nobody else has got all these cabs. Nobody else has got these drivers signed up. Nobody else has got, what's it called, cab charge. Nobody else has got that. Well, they didn't get beaten by another cab company. They didn't get beaten by smarter cabs. So I would argue to the CEO of Asiana, watch out. Watch out, because who says that that coal needs to come on your train? Who says that you know, you need to participate in these pieces of business? But that being said, if that's his core competence, then I would spend a lot of time thinking about how that part of their business is going to be Ubered and digitized, because it can be by somebody else in another way. Everybody familiar with Jeff Bezos, CEO of Amazon? And he wrote up this just a few weeks ago, and he said, you know, people are always asking him, you know, everybody's talking in conferences like this about rate of change. Everything's changing, guys. How do we keep up? It's going to change, and Cisco's doing this, and Google's doing that, and everything's changing. And he said this, he said, instead of asking me what's changing, ask me what's not changing over the next 10 years. Ask me what's not changing, because business is business. I think we talked about that, right? Business is business. That's not changing in many ways. You were saying you still buy product, you make a margin on the product, and you flog the product. You're just doing it in a very different way. That's business. You've got to make money, right? That's not changing. So my point is, ask yourself what's not changing in your business, because that is absolutely critical. The second question to ask is what's the job to be done? So when I buy a product, I don't buy this because I like the look of this phone. I mean, some people do, but most people don't. I buy this product to do something. I've got a job that I want this thing to do, beyond making phone calls, you know, all the apps, etc. So ask, what job is it that your customers want done for them? That's the second point. Sounds simple? Ask, what is the job to be done? The third one is, what business are you in? Banking is important to the modern economy. Banks are not. Do you really need bricks and mortar? Moven will say no. They're making bucket loads and they don't own any bricks and mortar, right? So the question is, what business are you in? And I think a lot of, no, I won't name them. A lot of the people I speak to are really confused about the business that they're in. In fact, I'll use this example because it was written up in the press. When you go into an Australian post office, you walk in, you see kids' toys, you see a whole bunch of office products, you see thousands of different things. What business is Aussie Posting? Good question. Okay, you see what I'm getting at? What businesses are they really in? And I think that's something they need to answer. And finally, the question of all, is your business going to be Ubered? Is it going to be Ubered? Because it can be Ubered. In my opinion, all we need is some smart guys in the back, lots of data, lots of algorithms, and we can do some devastating things to anybody's business. Not we, but the world can.